Going on, everyone? So this year is going to be a very interesting year for LeBron James, in my opinion, right? He's coming off of that foot injury. The Lakers were just in the Western Conference Finals, and it felt like, man, like if LeBron was, you know, even 80%, right? Like, feels like he could have done a little bit more to maybe help the Lakers, maybe close down the stretch, right? The Lakers were in every single one of those Denver games, and it just felt like if LeBron could have turned it on, like maybe we could have came out of the Western Conference, and I do believe we would have beaten the Miami Heat. But regardless, what is, and now LeBron James is ready to ramp up. We haven't heard anything about his foot and having any type of surgery, although LeBron said himself that no one would hear about it if it did happen. But we have seen him in the lab working on his game, working in the weight room, all that stuff. He's looking great. He's looking like his usual, like, NBA ready self. And he's the one guy you don't really have to worry about, right? Like, it is odd that we haven't gotten the like just flood of LeBron James workout videos and all that stuff. And it's something that even many of you have expressed to me in the comments. Like, it's really odd just not seeing, because LeBron is one of those guys that like posts all his workouts. It shows you everything. And so it's kind of like given this mystery and allure of like, did LeBron get surgery or not? And regardless, whether he did or not, I imagine, is going to be ready to go. He's going to be good. He has it figured out, right? He's doing on-court activities. He's looking explosive. He's looking like his usual self. But there is concern of like, is this the year that LeBron finally regresses, right? Even last year, LeBron was, a 38-8 guy, right? Like, the guy was ridiculous still, even last year. But he also had to carry a lot of the workload in order to kind of keep the Lakers afloat, right? And he was chasing the scoring title, and he was, trying to achieve some accolades and stuff, because it was like, all right, like, it's not even looking like we're going to make the play-in. I might as well go get what I want to get and, be the all-time leading scorer. And it ended up wearing him down. Now, luckily, this year, LeBron James isn't going to have to do that. This roster is talented. This roster is deep. It's versatile. It has many guys that are his size that can play his position, and he can take nights off or play fewer minutes and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily think LeBron's going to be, a 28-8 guy or 38-8 guy, right? I could see him kind of being like a 23-8 guy or somewhere in that ballpark. Not saying that he's not capable of going off for 30 plus, right? I mean, he could if he wanted to, but I don't think this team needs that. I think this team needs, playmaking LeBron, play within the offense of LeBron. What we saw towards the back half of the season last year, and even in the playoffs, where he wasn't dominating the basketball. He wasn't completely taking over and everyone else was just kind of standing around. There were moments here and there, but he did and was more willing and accepting to let Austin Reeves handle duties, let D'Angelo Russell handle duties, right? Like, that's what I want to continue to see from LeBron James, where he is an extension. He's continuing the movement. He's LeBron, right? He's going to step on the court and he's going to get his 20 points a night just being on the court. He's still too big, too fast, too strong, too intelligent. He's going to be able to get it. I hope he's not jacking up 23s a game and shooting 20%. Like, that would not be good at all. I really do. That was one of the things that really just grinded my gears last year. I mean, he averaged seven 3-point attempts per game last year, and he shot 32.1%. Like, that is rough, right? And, if he's doing that again this year and just kind of being a shot chucker that's, just hurting and damaging the team, that could be a bit of a problem, right? Now, if you're open shooting, right? Like, if Austin Reeves is driving and kicks it out to LeBron and he's wide open, sure. But the early into the shot clock, or him holding the ball, killing all the shot clock, and then jacking up a three instead of getting into your set, getting into your plays. And look, I understand the previous roster was not very good, right? And so it was like, he's just trying to get something going. He's just trying to knock down the three ball. He's trying to do all that stuff. I get it. But I look at this roster and I go, we don't need LeBron to be LeBron of old, right? We need LeBron to, yes, pick and choose his spots, right? if it's conserve yourself for towards the end of games, if games are tight and close, we have you to take over and be LeBron to go and win that game. 2 minutes left, we're in a tie game. LeBron, it's your time, right? Like, that's what we need. Go be the greatest closer in NBA history. Like, let's go do that. Right? The most clutch player in NBA history. We need you to do that. Right? Like, those are the things that we need. But my biggest concern, and what I think could end up being the biggest argument for him taking a step back, outside of like he's in year 21, age 30, age 39, or going to be 39, right? Like, outside of that and just father time, it's that foot injury. So LeBron's had injuries pretty much ever since he's came to Lakers. But this is the one that has the potential to really be game-changing for the rest of his career. And knock on wood, I really hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't affect him at all. I hope his foot is fully healthy, fully fine, and he's good to go, right? And I hope it doesn't become a nagging, persistent issue. But we have seen many players over the course of the history of the league where they get that foot injury and then it starts becoming a persistent issue and it starts becoming a regular thing. And it's like, this wasn't like he just hurt his foot, or it was like plantar fasciitis or something like that, where it's like, you stay off of it. There's treatments. There's, special insoles. There's things like guys play through it. It'll be fine. No, like this was something that like he needed surgery in, right? He like tore a tendon in his foot or whatever. Right? Like, does that become a constant, persistent thing that starts to wear on him? Right? He has been blessed, and I hope that he continues that with never having that, detrimental thing, the Kobe injury, stuff like that, right? And he's a guy that, again, the guy puts more money into his body and his health and his fitness than most of us will ever see in our entire lives. And he does that every year. Right? Again, I'm not worried about him being in shape and taking care of his body and going through proper rehabs and treatments and all of that. I'm not. Like, that's LeBron James is the least concerning out of probably any player in history. Right? Like, the guy he does everything he can. And so it's not that, but he's still, year 21, has more mileage than like anybody in history. Like, the guy is going to be 39 years old and just had a foot injury that should have left him out the entirety of the season, and he played on it. How much more damage did that add to him? That's something else as well, right? Like, did that damage his foot even further, where he should have went and got surgery, he should have taken it, right? He had to go and get 15 doctors' opinions and all that, right? It really is a question. And that's my biggest concern. Like, I don't think he's going to have like this big drop off. And every year it's like, this is the year LeBron is and every year he proves the critics and the haters wrong. Every year he's a 38-8 guy. And it's just like, God. And look, I fully believe he could be that again this year. But I think, one, he doesn't have to. So I don't think he will. Two, I think with his age and his IQ and just everything, I think he'll be more willing with this roster and with the emergence of Reeves and stuff to kind of play and just coast, right? Because LeBron knows, like, this may be my last chance here, right? Like, this may be my last chance to win a championship. I need to be as healthy and ready as possible for the NBA playoffs, right? What do I care about more, winning number 5 or averaging 30 points a game when I'm the all-time leading scorer, right? I'll get my 20 to 25 a game. I could see him being around 23 to 25 points, which would still set every record in the book for a player his age and in his year and all that. He'll still get all the praise in the world. He'll still be this, that, and the other. Allow Anthony Davis to be the number 1 guy. You have Austin Reeves. You have all these guys. Like, I definitely think he regresses by his own fruition, right? I don't think I just don't see him having this like crazy drastic drop off, right? You don't just go from being a 38-8 guy to all of a sudden you're a 12-5-5 guy. Like that just, it doesn't happen, right? Even some of like the most drastic drop-offs. Not for the talented guys, right? I mean, we've seen guys have like, guys that are out of the league 3 years later. We've seen guys like have really good individual seasons and then all of a sudden they just like are never able to replicate that. That's not the case. We're talking about arguably the greatest player of all time. It doesn't happen to those kind of guys, right? So I don't see LeBron just falling off the cliff production-wise. But I could see him definitely taking a step back and looking at it as like, all right, like, I don't need to be the man. I don't need to be LeBron James with this roster. Let me be an extension of this team, of this roster. Make sure the other guys are getting involved. Kind of just cruise and coast throughout this season. Still go get my buckets. I think he'll pick and choose his spots. He did it last year too, right? Especially towards the second half of the season, right? When we got the new roster. Like, how many games did LeBron, with the new roster, how many games did LeBron have like 4 points at halftime? And you like, at the end of the game, you like check the box score, or like LeBron's doing an interview and it pops up on the screen that LeBron had like 25. And you're like, when did LeBron score 25 points? You're like, what is going on? Like, dude, like he scored, and it's because he just like, he pick and chooses spots, right? It's like, man, LeBron scored 20 points or 21 points in the second half. It's like, yeah, but he did it in bursts, right? He got everyone involved early on. Then the third quarter, he'd go on like a 6 straight point burst, right? Because no one can stop him still. So he just gets to the bat, puts his head down, gets to the basket, boom, there you go. Hits a 3. All right, there you go. Now you got 9 points. And it's like, all right, fourth quarter, let me go get another 8 to 10. There you go. Right? And it's like, oh, okay. Right? Like, I'm okay with that. Right? Like, I would totally be okay with LeBron just picking and choosing his spots. The first quarter, just let everyone else do their thing. Obviously, if you have an easy lane, or, you make a cut, or, yeah, you got a wide open 3, you take it. But, like, even if LeBron's scoreless every first quarter this year, I would care less, right? Unless we're just, like, sinking, and it's like, come on. Dude, we're down, like, 15. Like, let's go, right? But for the most part, I think I would care less if he scored in the first quarter, right? And then the second quarter, you go get 3 straight baskets, and now you finish the half with 6, right? And then do the same thing in the third quarter. Do the same thing in the fourth quarter. Now you got 18 to 20 points, and that's not even counting like free throws and stuff like that, right? So now that gets you to like 23 to 25. That's where I think he'll be. I think he'll be, probably my guess is like 23 to 25 points per game. And then I think he'll be somewhere around like, 8 rebounds and 6 to 8 assists, right? Because I do think that he'll allow Austin Reeves to kind of play point guard more. I think, with D'Lo, I don't think LeBron is going to dominate the ball and be point guard as much this season. So I think his assists will drop and his points will drop. Not dramatically, but I do think that they will drop. And I'm curious to see how many people in media, if that does happen, and I am right, how many of them just, oh my God, like, LeBron's falling off. Like, and it's like, dude, the guy's he's still averaging 24, 8 and 5, and he's falling off, and you're like, right? Like, I'm excited to keep this video as a point of reference. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, LeBron takes a step back? Not because Father Time, but by his own will. Do you think that his foot injury, do you think that that's going to be a problem? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.